My name is Mark Kempton. I'm the Senior Pilot for Queensland Government Air Rescue, and I run the helicopter base here at Archerfield. The Queensland Government Air Rescue is about saving lives, so 95% of our work involves jobs that where we carry our paramedic and our doctor. So we're all about going out and helping people that are in trouble. That could be a search and rescue mission. It could be a medical transfer from an outlying hospital back to the major facilities here in Brisbane. So there's many different aspects of what we actually do, but ultimately they help people that are in trouble, either medically or physically lost, for example in the bush or out in the ocean, etc. Queensland Government has 3 base machines that are set to cover the major geographical areas. So we've got one here at Archerfield. We also have a base in Townsville and one in Cairns as well. So those 3 aircraft can cover a fair percentage of the state of Queensland. And then in between that, we have community service providers, helicopters as well, that also form part of the emergency medical helicopter network. So pretty much all the circles of our operational radius cover across most of the state of Queensland and the greater geographical areas where probably the bulk of the population is as well. Yes, so basically the helicopter can travel with full fuel quite a long distance. It might be up to 400 or 500 miles depending on the actual operation and what we're doing. So along the way, of course, we can land and refuel. So we can end up pretty much anywhere, and quite often, even though we're based in Queensland, we do get called to go across the borders for other state operations, and a lot of that is involved with the Australian Search and Rescue Centre down in Canberra. They may call us for an operation like say a boat that's sunk offshore. And a few years ago I went down to a place about 60 miles to the east of Taree where a yacht had rolled over because its keel had came off, and we went down to look for the missing sailors on that particular operation. So even though we're located here, the borders sort of don't mean much, and we can end up going to all sorts of places. So our operation here, we can end up out at St George, Roma. We can go down as far like south as Grafton sometimes on medical transfers. We go up north to Bundaberg. We can go to Gladstone, out to Emerald. There's many sort of areas that we would cover just on this base, and even the other bases, Townsville and Cairns, have that sort of operation as well. So they can pretty much cover any particular area that they're sent to by the Retrieval Services Queensland operation that controls the network. The helicopter rescue network would bring most of our patients back to, or survivors, back to the major retrieval hospitals like the Prince Charles, the Royal Brisbane Hospital, the Lady Cilento Children's Hospital, the Mater, etc., the Princess Alexandra Hospital. So they would bring those sorts of patients back that need specialist medical care. So along the way, of course, we've got our Queensland Health Doctor and our intensive care paramedics, so they can provide a lot of assistance and keep the patients alive if they're in this life-threatening situation that whole time where we're flying. So in the back with our team, with the doctor and the paramedic and our rescue crewmen, they can all work together in the back to keep the patients stabilised. This aircraft is like a mobile intensive care ambulance, so we have plumbed in oxygen. The medical team carry all the required drugs and fluids, etc. We have all the monitoring gear, so a stretcher bridge with a heart monitor, the ability to restart someone's heart in flight. So all blood as well, we carry blood for the patients as well. So it's really like a mobile intensive care ambulance flying through the sky, keeping that person alive, keeping them well, looking after them until we get back to the major retrieval hospitals where they can get that really intense sort of medical treatment to keep them going. In helicopter rescue, there's a thing called the golden hour. So generally if we can get to a patient and get them back to a retrieval centre within the hour, they're going to have a very good chance of survival. So that's the beauty about the helicopter. We can go anywhere. We don't need an airport to take off and land. We can actually just land anywhere that we can fit the helicopter in. So that we can actually get right next to accident scenes. If someone's been injured, as an example, perhaps on a farm, we've done jobs where a farmer has been caught in the thrashing machine, he's had his arm damaged, we can land right next to that particular incident site, start treating the patient straight away, put them in the helicopter and then get them back to the hospital as quickly as we can. I started flying in 1984 and worked my way up to getting my helicopter and aeroplane licence. I love my job, so as a young boy I had a fascination with helicopters, and eventually went and had a flying lesson, and the flying bug bit me, and it's just gone on from there. So I've actually been working for Queensland Government Air Helicopter Rescue for the past 17 years, involving all the operational aspects of our base, looking after the check and training for our pilots and crew, and flying the missions as well, making sure we're in a state of readiness to go to anything, because as you know, we can have pretty severe weather events like Cyclone Larry, Cyclone Debbie, to start with, the 2011 floods, the Bundaberg floods, etc. So that's the sort of work we get involved in very heavily to help people in trouble, to cover them off with our operation. The most fantastic thing that I do is to go flying in this aircraft, and it's like strapping this machine to your back, and it's a magic carpet ride. I cannot describe the office window that I look out of. It is absolutely beautiful. There's a moving landscape out there. You've got the blue sky, the white clouds, the incredible landscape that you fly over. You're sitting there in that magic carpet just scooting across the planet, and it's absolutely incredible. So it's such a buzz. Even after 32 years of flying, I still get a buzz every time I take off in this machine. It's just the best job in the world. Yes, a helicopter can take you anywhere. That's the beauty of a helicopter. You don't need an airport, you don't need a runway to take off. So you can get to the highest pinnacle on the highest mountain, you can get to the most isolated, crystal clear lake and land right next to it. You can be in the bush, in the smallest hole in the trees that no one could even walk into, and you can get to in the helicopter. So it'll take you to places that no one else can or no other machine can. It's a magic carpet ride. When we're flying this aircraft, we obviously fly through a lot of bad weather. So we often get called out when there's severe thunderstorms, cyclones, very, very strong winds, heavy rain and all the rest. Now, when you're flying into or around or near a cumulonimbus cloud, it's very, very frightening. It can be extremely turbulent. You can have lightning bolts going off. Rain so thick you think you're in a fish bowl, and you wouldn't be surprised to see a fish swimming past the windscreen as you're flying through. The rain's that heavy. So that can be extremely frightening. It can also be just an adrenaline rush when you come across a scene like the Grantham floods in 2011, and there's just people on rooftops everywhere, buildings being destroyed, and you know you're responsible to save all those lives. That's just an absolute amazing feeling.